Let's go.
All right, we're good.
Yo, welcome back to the Out of the Box Show. I'm John Wallace alongside my co-hosts James Luffy and Rory Luke. And wow, what a time to be alive. Huh? Come on, guy. Wait, Luffy, tell me how great it is to be alive in the sports world right now.
The Bengals, the Bayou Bengals, are going to the Super Bowl. Joseph, Jamar, Tyler, the squad is going. Andrew Whitworth, legend, is going. And Odell Beckham Jr., who a lot of people counted out not too long ago.
Yes. Rory, tell me what it's like to be you right now.
I'll be transparent. I was rooting for the Chiefs on Sunday.
Yep, we know because you were texting in the group text about it.
Yeah. I'll be transparent. It's just how it was. I'm just a bigger Tyrann Mathieu, Clyde Edwards-Helaire fan than I am a Joe Burrow fan. I was just rooting for those LSU guys because they don't get enough credit.
That's an interesting way to put it.
You forgot one too, John. You forgot about our boy, Darrell Williams.
Yes. Darrell Williams as well, yeah. I mean, those are guys, that I like and appreciate, and you can't fault me for, they're all LSU guys. I mean, I picked the Louisiana kids. I mean, Jamar Chase and Tyler Shelvin, but 3 Louisiana kids over here, 2 over there. I mean, I'm sorry. Now we're rooting for the Bengals, though.
Okay. I guess I have to be transparent as well. I actually was in Las Vegas for the AFC and the NFC championship, and I was sitting at the sports book, and when the Bengals went down by 3 touchdowns in the first half, I got up. I walked over to the kiosk. I had my money in my hand, and I pulled it back. I was going to live bet the Bengals. I think it was plus 20.5. I was going to get 20.5 points. And the money line for them to win at that point was like plus 2,500 or something. It was ridiculous. So it didn't, and I'm paying for it now because I came back from Vegas a little bit more broke than I was before. I was broke before, and now I'm way more broke. We'll be eating ice soup this week, probably next week after that. And I might even, if I'm lucky, I might even get a few gulps of air to kind of supplement the ice soup this week. But other than that, Vegas was the time. All right. Before we get to our show, we have all kind of stuff to talk about today. Today, National Signing Day. Jimbo Fisher is a little weenie. We got the number 6 recruiting class right now. Is that what y'all got? Number 6?
I do not have that.
Okay, I have number 6 right now. Maybe I'm pulling from the wrong source. That's why I have you guys. Y'all are the stat guys. Y'all are the color guys. But they're number 6 in my mind. So I guess that's where I pulled it from. We also are going to talk what the hell is going on with the LSU basketball programs. One good, one bad, right? We're going to get a little further into the Super Bowl. We're going to talk a little sports betting being legalized in Louisiana. And we're going to round out the show with some LSU baseball talk. We are less than 3 weeks away from the start of college baseball. The start of college baseball. Can you believe it? It seems like just yesterday that we were wrapping up the college baseball season. We are doing our best. We're hoping to get a guest on next week within the program. We will see. We will let you know. But before we get to all that, I want to give a huge shout out to Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty. I love Blaine. I really do. He is an all-time guy, and he's an all-time realtor. He is the greatest of all time at realty. If you want to buy a home, sell a home, find a home to rent, or find somebody to rent your home out, make sure to call or text Blaine Loop at 504-858-0031 for all your housing needs. Blaine wants to help you out. I cannot stress that enough. I call Blaine all the time with real estate questions. I'm interested in real estate. I want Blaine to be my realtor, and he is. He is my realtor at this point. So call or text Blaine Loop at 504-858-0031. Also, Boot Crew Media, the guys over at Pro Pels Talk had Barstool Mincy on their show the other day. Make sure to go check out that interview. All kinds of great content coming from all of the Boot Crew Media family. With sports betting being legalized in Louisiana, there are podcasts that literally tell you what to pick to make money. Besides us, right? We constantly give winners, but there is podcasts that are strictly committed to sports betting, and you need to check them out on bootcrewmedia.com and on social media at Boot Crew Media. All right. What y'all want to start with? Signing day? Signing day. I know Lovey's been itching. I saw him. He was scratching his neck like what was that Dave Chappelle skit? He was fiending to talk about some National Signing Day, and I'm gonna just go ahead and start with. I feel like Brian Kelly, regardless of what your opinion is of the dance, I feel like he just needs to lay off with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like the dance as long as it's bringing attention to LSU. We can keep them coming. We'll bring, a lot of gritty back into the stadium and this fall to really get the recruits growing. But I mean, regardless of all the dancing stuff, it was an okay day for LSU. You pick up a great get today and Harold Perkins, and like this signing day is so much different than it used to be because now it's like more portal guys and like some of the few guys that haven't signed in the 2022 class. The early signing day is the majority of the guys. But I mean, for the new staff to finish where we finished, it's definitely not bad. Losing all the Louisiana kids to Alabama, it sucks. And we didn't gain any ground on Alabama. And A&M's class is insane. We'll get to A&M, but as far as us goes, I mean, there's still some really good players in this class. Will Campbell, Harold Perkins. I mean, you get Walker Howard, obviously. A lot of the guys we've already talked about. Emory Jones, Quincy Wiggins is a beast.
Yeah, Quincy Wiggins.
I mean, there's some good players in this class, but you don't want to lose. I mean, you don't want to lose that amount of Louisiana kids we did today. Jacoby Matthews going to A&M, that hurts. But I mean, it's the first cycle. It's a completely new staff. They fired literally everybody, and it's hard to.
And Lucky is frozen, but I feel like I know what he was going to say. It's hard with the turnover that the LSU football program had to be able to put a class, not the best class, right? Not the most perfect class, but still a high caliber class, right, Rory? I mean, we were kind of talking in the intro, like we're in the top 10 in recruiting, right? And Brian Kelly being a brand new coach, not from Louisiana, complete turnover of the roster and the staff. We're not doing like A+, but we're doing B material at worst.
I think you might have had maybe. Where did you get your number 6 from?
I read Scott Rabelais, former guest of the Out the Box podcast. I just read his article, so that I saw it got pushed to me, and I check that out. So maybe I read it wrong. I am a little tired from work today, and the jet lag from coming back to Vegas, the time change is messing me all up.
So I saw 12, which I think is more realistic of where we are just recruits wise.
Let me look up the article because that's going to bother me if we're that far off.
So I think the article might have included a transfers and
I think you might be right.
Recruits.
Yes.
But just non-transfers, just new guys. I think we're at 12, which is what we're at on 247, which I trust 247. With only 15 guys, we have out of the top 12 teams, we have the least guys committed by at least 2. And I think, like Luffy said, it was a solid class.
And Rory, And did you click on those overall rankings ever on 247? So they had like a transfer portal and they had like the regular signing guys.
That's where we're 6. Okay.
Yep, that's where we're 6.
Go.
That's where we're 6.
Yeah.
Right,
I'm reading Scott Rabelais' article right now. It says that LSU was actually number 1 on the list for several weeks at the transfer portal and getting guys from there before finishing at number 3. So if you take 3 and 12, the exact average does not come out correctly to 6, but that's where I got the 6 from. Scott Rabelais was correct.
Yeah, I mean, and in front of us on the transfer, you got Ole Miss, which gets a Zachary Evans bump, and then USC, which gets the Caleb Williams bump. I mean, we don't have any of those, I think, 5-star caliber players coming in through the transfer portal. But, I mean, our transfer guys, we've talked about this. They're very solid players, definitely players that will help build a team and kind of transition this team into the Brian Kelly era. And to talk about, like, the recruits today, we got 2 guys today, Harold Perkins and Jalen Davis-Robinson. Talk about Jalen Davis-Robinson first. Kind of a late riser, late cornerback, big kid, 5'11", 6 foot, 175. Really got the size that you like to see in a cornerback. There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what happened? Dude, we have to get back in the studio. This is way out of control, way out of our comfort zone. For those that are listening, we are still dealing with some technical difficulties with our mics. And Rory can we get a guarantee from Rory that we are going to be back in the studio for next week?
I can't guarantee, but I can definitely give you like a 75%.
All right. And that's a guarantee. You round that up, you get a guarantee.
All right, so what I was talking about was Davis-Robinson, solid player, late rising cornerback, and then you get the 5-star, a guy that I think if you would have asked us all at the early signing day if this would have been our guy today, I don't think anybody would have said yes. I think it would just kind of look like Texas A&M all the way, but we ended up getting Harold Perkins, who was easily probably the consensus best player out of the guys left that we were in play with. But at a position in need in linebacker, a guy that can probably hopefully come in and, compete for a job. But a very good player, and I'm happy to have it. I saw on Instagram his uncle or his dad was on Instagram Live burning Texas A&M stuff. Which I'm all here for, like burn as much Texas A&M stuff as possible, and we can all gritty in the locker room.
Yes. And just to kind of go back to, I mentioned the Brian Kelly dance. I'm afraid. I'm just so afraid after seeing what's happened to LSU. LSU, what would you call a program that wins the Natty, does what they did in 2019, right, and then falls off very quickly? A slippery slope. I'm afraid of the slippery slope. We got Danny Lewis leaving after he does the dance. I mean, I just have nightmares about Walker Howard saying, you know what? No, I got to go, because kids are ruthless these days. And someone might have gotten in old Danny Boy's ear. Maybe, I mean, it's different if it's Nick Saban, right? But somebody might have gotten in his ear and told him, he's like, that's not really cool. So I don't know. That's just some food for thought, Luffy. But
I mean, I don't think he jumped up and danced with him on his own. I think that's crazy to think that.
I know. I have nightmares.
You think he was like? You think Brian Kelly just ran up there and hopped on that thing, or you think he was like, "Come get on here with me, coach"?
I think Brian Kelly's the type of guy that he's like one of those guys that you would never think is a guy that would dance like that, right? Until you see him at a wedding. Once he gets on the dance floor at a wedding, he is cutting the rug. He's spinning everybody, doing splits. Like, I mean, what is his next move? If Brian Kelly popped down onto the floor and did the worm, I mean, what would you do?
I mean, I don't know. I think that's all kind of irrelevant. I think the attention is good, but I don't think that makes a difference. You got Lane Kiffin dressed up like he's 16, posing in front of cars. I mean, is that big of a difference? I mean, is it? I don't know.
Yes, it is.
Because he's old. That's ageist.
I don't think it's that big of a difference.
Get on him, Rory.
Can you hear me?
I'm not.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
Right.
No. Hold on. I'm not being ageist here. Okay. It's just natural. I feel like your dance moves slide off the older you get, right?
Yeah, but there's like a sliding scale to where like they get funny, like, and I think we're kind of tipping that scale to where like Brian Kelly's dance moves are kind of getting on the funny side.
I don't know, man.
It's like,
it just kind of seems like when my dad starts dancing or something, it's just
but when your dad starts dancing, it's funny.
It gives me goosebumps. It kind of makes me cringe.
Well, John, you're not an 18-year-old recruit.
Okay, fair enough.
Look, I mean, I think that I don't know. Who cares? Like, would that video get 5 million views?
That video had 10 million views just like on Twitter in like an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all are in the camp of any attention is good attention, right?
Yeah. I mean, for most of it, yeah, I would think so.
Are you telling me that you would rather have your head coach like chew on the grass on the sidelines than dance at a recruiting visit?
For me, I think everybody. Okay, I think everybody would have freaked out too if Les Miles would have been. It would have been the same weirdness level if Les Miles would have done it at his age too.
Have you seen the video of Nick Saban dancing in that recruit's living room?
I have not.
Roy, have you seen that?
I'm kind of afraid to watch it. I'm kind of afraid
Okay.
to watch it because Nick would like track my IP address and like come find me and make me delete it, and then make me do like 10 burpees or something.
Well, they were like trying to show him it's literally the same scenario. It just was at like an in-home visit instead of being like at the facility. Like it's like a similar video of like Nick trying to dance.
I think it's just like one of those things where it's like the recruit probably says like, "Come on, coach, like come up
Yeah,
here." And
yeah,
then,
let's
like,
go.
Brian
Yeah.
Kelly like is just acting the fool.
Dude,
Brian Kelly, top 10 wedding.
So what is he gonna do?
When Brian Kelly hits a dance floor at the wedding, like it's on.
Yeah,
it's a must
dude.
see.
Like you're I don't know.
As soon as like the band starts with the shout, like Brian Kelly's out there, shout, put your hand, and then he gets real low, like to the floor, like he gets all the way down there, and he comes back up.
Okay, so there's a bunch of other old guys at weddings doing that with him as well, so it's not as weird. Second of all, what the slippery slope comes when he does like the Dougie or the two-step, or
we already got him doing the gritty, dude.
Yeah, he did the gritty.
He's already done the
He's
gritty.
going to tear his ACL just like Schefter. We cannot have that. He's the brand new coach. We need him to be ready to go on the sideline for the start of the season. But anyway, I mean, all that to say, right? Like, yeah, we joke and whatnot, but I think we'd all have to agree that overall, given the situation that Brian Kelly took over, I mean, why don't we shine the light on A&M for a second, right? We said we would get to it. Like LSU, given their last couple years, is not in a financial. Luffy, you made this point as well, I believe, in the group text. Like LSU is not in a financial point to be able to throw a crap ton of money at all these athletes. That's why people like Gordon are having to step up and put money towards the NIL stuff, because LSU's paying coaches not to coach right now.
And what a hypocrite the Jimbo sounded like today. He literally a couple weeks ago said that, oh yeah, it's huge. I mean, now it's just above the table. Remember, he made that comment like on a radio show. Like he was like, yeah, it's a huge thing. And then today he was like, yeah, it has absolutely nothing to do with the class we signed. It's an insult to the coaches. Like you just directly contradicted yourself 2 weeks ago. Like he sounds like a politician. Really.
Jacoby Matthews and his dad said today they got asked, like, how much did the NIL have to do with going to Texas A&M, and they said 0.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, technically, there's like some rules I think against when the money like can get there and all that kind of stuff. So like, I think it technically is still breaking the rules, and that's probably why Jimbo like had to put on that big fake act that he put on. It's so easy to tell when he's lying. Is it one of the easiest people ever You tell whenever he's like lying and under pressure, he's like panicked completely in the press conference. But I mean, they said their class is ridiculous. I mean, that's just it is what it is. But
and you said this, I think you tweeted this, like half that class is going to transfer.
Half the kids that won't start for the first year, they're going to transfer somewhere else. Like that's just how it is now. Like everyone wants to play right away. It's not, the opposite of what we've seen with Miles Brennan. Like everybody wants to go now. Like they have to play that first year.
Yeah, and you'll get like the random few kids, but it's not going to be most of those like crazy 5-stars that you sign, because those 5-stars, you got to promise them to play, but you already have guys that you're playing.
Yeah.
And then you already have like.
And then those guys are going to transfer. It's going to end up working itself out. It's going to end up working itself out. Like, and you know what? I'm so sick of hearing about NIL, but the thing with LSU, like John said a minute ago, was just we had to buy out all these coaches, not just Coach O. We've had to buy out multiple coaches over the last couple of years. Like think about the Pelini deal, and they're having to. The donors are already putting up for these guys. Like they're already putting up. So and what's the deal with like these deals? It's got to be a year-to-year thing for these guys for it to make sense. Because if not, you're paying all this money for a kid to come in and leave after his first 4 months of school.
So I have a question. So you mentioned Miles Brennan, and this just kind of popped into my head. Is Miles Brennan, like, given the way the transfer portal's going, is he the last person, or is he the last college football player to stick around a football program for what is it going to be 6 years?
Yes, it'll be 6 years. I think there's some other guys just because like the COVID thing, but I mean, it is definitely rare these days. I mean, for LSU, yes, he's the only guy, but we've had some guys in the past couple of years do it.
I think he's probably the only quarterback, I would say.
Yeah.
He's probably taking the 6 year. I mean, I don't think he takes a 6 year if he'd have played this full year. I think he's probably going to the draft. I think it's like a very special situation where he kind of has to take this 6 year if he wants to make that leap into the NFL. And also, like, I mean, Miles is going to be 23, 24 this year. I mean,
yeah.
You go.
I'd say 22, 23, yeah.
So you're an NFL rookie at 24, but you're a vet. You've kind of gotten everything down. It's not like the NBA or the MLB where they look at your age a lot, especially at the quarterback position. I mean, Tom Brady, not at all to compare, but Tom Brady just retired at 42 or however old he is. I don't know. But it's just those things when you play quarterback, like having a 25-year-old quarterback versus having a 22-year-old quarterback. Will it matter? Probably not that much. If you show the same thing on the field, I don't think it – I mean, you might take him a little later, but really not that much later.
No, I mean, look at Joe. Joe was older, Joe was older whenever he got drafted.
Joe was a
same situation.
Senior.
So, y'all want to move on to a little basketball talk? We can talk about how Rory was wrong last episode.
Hold on. I got one more. Well, actually, I don't know. This thought just kind of popped in my head, right? So you have the NIL stuff, right? And you have Livy Dunn, the gymnast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it could LSU pull something off to where she could like almost be an LSU, like she's like an influencer on social media, but could she be like an official LSU influencer and they pay her for it? And then that she like goes out on recruiting visits and tells players how great it is to come to LSU.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I first want to think of that.
If I'm being honest, I think somebody like Livy Dunn is probably the only person who's taking NIL legally. Like, she's just literally just making the money that she was going to make no matter what. I think most of these deals are under the table. These kids are not giving a company anything.
Well, of the value, yeah.
Yeah, but I think when you pay for a Livy Dunn to put her name on
worth
something, it is worth it. Also, Livy Dunn, House Bar in Tigerland, requested a song the other day. Great song selection.
What song?
Freako. I was going to play it anyway.
Damn.
So
look at you roaring.
So what you're saying is it wasn't that great of a request because it was supposed to be on there.
It was actually a good request because it was just like she was thinking with the right mind. You know, she knew she was thinking like a DJ.
Okay. So you're saying that it's okay for her to walk up and request a song, but nobody else.
If you're requesting good songs,
okay,
think about it twice.
All right.
Before you request a song, think about, would I play this in front of 40 of my closest friends?
Or 500, like at the house bar.
Actually, 40 of people that you don't even know. Would you play this in front of 40 people that you don't know? Think about it.
John, my answer to your question would be she probably is pretty damn busy. So I don't know. Like, I mean, she is on this gym team. Like, they have workouts, all that. Like, I don't think she has probably time for that, but that would be awesome. I mean,
I think you're right. I mean, I think regardless of how her gymnastics career turns out, I think social media is a good second option for her if she doesn't make the Olympic team. So, all right. Let's get to an ad read from Luffy, from one of our great sponsors, Workbox.
Look, John's been into the real estate lately. If he needs a dumpster, he's going to buy homes, redo them, flip them, sell them. He's got to call Workbox. Workbox has portable offices, portable restroom rentals, roll-off dumpsters, storage containers. If you need anything, call Workbox at 225-343-4886. Call Martine. Ask for Martine. He's the best in the business. He's always working. He's always working the phones. He has the cleanest portable toilets in the world. In the world, period, the end. Call Workbox at 225-343-4886.
All right. Let's talk a little LSU basketball. This is going to be a painful segment, I think, but it's one that we have to get to, and we're going to have to take a deep dive. We're going to have to get to the depths of human consciousness, what's going on in Will Wade's mind, in the entire team's mind. My question is, if you just look at it from strictly a betting perspective, right? The spread in college basketball is generally hard to like pick against the spread in basketball because of the, late in the game, fouls start going on and whatnot. But LSU is 12.5-point favorites. So generally, if a team is a 12.5-point favorite, that doesn't mean that they have to cover. But generally in college basketball, you're going to win, right? And we lost to bottom tier Ole Miss. Make sense.
Ole Miss and an Ole Miss team without their best player, and their second best player got hurt halfway through the game and didn't come back in. So, I mean, it's a bad loss. Yeah, they were on fire. I mean, they were absolutely on fire, shooting 70% from three in the first half, making everything. But, we didn't turn up that defensive energy like we had earlier in the season. And on offense, they looked lost for most of the game again. And Pinson clearly isn't healthy. Doesn't look healthy. Not moving around. Doesn't look aggressive. He only played a couple of minutes. And I mean, we caught fire. That game would have been a blowout if it wasn't for Days catching fire. I mean, it's rare for someone. I mean, he gets hot, but you can't count on that every night, for scoring. So it's bad without Pinson. There's no rhythm on offense. We turn the ball over, really careless errors. A lot more than we were doing, earlier in the season, in my opinion. I thought Will was talking about cutting down on turnovers, and it seems like they've just gotten worse. We don't shoot the ball, that well at all. We can't finish around the rim, which he's talked about, and we can't make free throws. And we fouled too early, and people are in the double bonus with 14 minutes left in the half. So every time we get a little touchy foul, they're getting free throws. I mean, it's not a good. It's been bad the last couple of games.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. It's definitely been a major shift from what we thought this LSU basketball team would be. I mean, they're still playing great defense. They did not play great defense against Ole Miss. I mean, Ole Miss shot the bejesus out of the ball. I mean, especially in that first half. But I mean, when you play great defense, you should at least be able to, put a hand in the face here and there and kind of contest some of those shots.
But I think the defense is slacked off because we're fouling too much too early, and then we can't be that physical defense we need to, because then we're just giving them free throws, and the refs are looking for it, and it's not. The refs weren't even bad in the Ole Miss game, really. I mean, a couple bad calls at the end that were just bad timing calls for us, but if we're so physical at the beginning and have stupid errors in the beginning, turnovers that lead to fouls. A lot, that's been a big thing. We turn it over and they're getting fast breaks and we got a foul, you pretty much have no option but to foul. And then on our end, it's just throwing the ball away way too much. It's just careless errors.
Yeah. I think this is where you see that it just is awful to have your top two guards go down with Pinson and Adam Miller. Adam Miller before the season even started, but you see it, and there's a real tough lack of a point guard. Gaines is good and Gaines tries hard, and I like Gaines, but Gaines can get lazy with the ball sometimes, and sometimes he tries to make a pass that isn't really there, and stuff like that. I mean, he doesn't always play that well. He's just very turnover prone. He's a great guy to come off the bench, give some juice, get in a guy's face, get in his grill, play some hard defense, make an occasional three, maybe make that reverse layup that he likes. Give him some
reverse
cheddar.
layup is sweet when he hits that.
Yeah. But to have him starting playing every game, it's tough, man. It's tough without Pinson.
He's playing a lot of minutes too, and I think that's been weird for Murray too, making a little bit of an adjustment for him. I think they've got to run for some stuff for Brandon Murray, and I just think he's a good player. I think you got to get his confidence back up. Let him take 2, 3, 4 threes a game where it's a set play, and get him some shots and get him more involved in the offense, because right now, if we don't get Pinson back in the next month till healthy, he's gonna have to be a big part of our scoring consistently every night. And then I thought Justice Williams has really come along.
Yeah,
he wasn't healthy all preseason. If he was, he might be. I honestly think he's gonna end up starting. I think Will Wade likes him. I don't know what his plus minus is. I don't know if they track that on ESPN for college basketball, but I feel like his plus minus has been great lately. He doesn't he had 6 turnovers, 2 assists last night. That's someone who's been good with the basketball. He's done some good passes, and he's got a nice little shot. He just needs that little boost of confidence.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree. I think Justice Williams is really well. I just don't know if he's that ball handler, which kind of puts you into Brandon Murray. But then and then it's hard. Milwaukee Wilkinson plays hard on defense, but he doesn't really bring you anything on the offensive side. He makes the occasional three, but he kind of just sits there.
He really didn't play that much. And when he did, I thought Milwaukee's actually played well the last couple games.
Yeah.
Because he's hit those shots. And the thing with Eason is different right now because teams know how to stop him. He's anytime he's going to the basket, he's drawing a ton of attention.
Yeah.
And it's hard for him because at the beginning of the year, you had to try to stop everybody. We had a very even scoring. We talked about that a lot. Everybody was scoring evenly, and they're not right now. It seems like whenever we have nothing to do, and Tar just grabs the ball, all the attention. It's 3-on-1. It's just not. And the guys in the SEC are too physical. It's too big. He can't just take over when it's 3v1, and he's getting frustrated with that.
And there's times where he takes it and gets a one-track mind where it's just I'm going to the basket.
Yeah.
And I was you can't. He's got to look up and pay attention to his surroundings, because whenever he does that,
and
they just collapse on him, like you're talking about.
And he's doing that because he wants to win so bad. We sat right behind the bench yesterday, and when you walk out now, you have to like wait till the team goes out after the game. And so we're standing right there. And I mean, whenever like the game was over, he was standing on the sideline, just bawling, crying as he walked out. Like he cares so much. He wants to win so much. And I think part of him, like he's like, I got to do this by myself. But like he makes some clutch shots. Like that 3 he made, he's clutch late in games. And I mean, he's still a really good player, but again, that's another thing where Pinson was able to get him involved and help him out too. And like whenever he came in the game, he wasn't the only one scoring at the time.
And so, I want to talk about one more player, John, before we get to it.
No, I just have a general question. Go ahead.
Before we get to it, because this guy makes me so mad, and I've talked about it in the past, but like Epton Reed, there are times where you wonder how he is a college basketball player, besides his height.
I mean, didn't they say it? Like, he didn't play high school basketball or something?
I hope you're right.
I don't think – no, I'm going to fact check that, but I'm pretty sure he didn't play high school basketball.
There are times where I don't think that Epton Reed could get 10 points at the rec if somebody over 6'6" was guarding him.
He's so big. It's just like – I don't know. I do think his basketball IQ is like it's like slowly picking up. Like he's also a guy. He looks like he wants to win though. Like he's like
I agree.
His emotions and stuff on the sideline. Like there's a ton of potential there. It's just like the game's moving really fast in SEC play for him. Is that I think the game, like when they're saying the game sped up so much.
And he just like he can't really do anything on offense. He tries to turn around. And he can't get that in, like he can't get it consistently. And then he plays defense, and we switch everything, and it's every single game. There'll be a pick. He'll switch onto the guard and get cooked by the guard.
He played at IMG. He played at IMG, so I know he played high school.
That was a. I don't know what I was thinking. I know I heard something about somebody not playing high school sports and then playing college, but apparently it wasn't him because he grew up in Richmond, Virginia, was a top college prospect by his sophomore season, and then transferred to IMG for his senior season. So you were right, Luffy.
But like it's just a different game when you get to college and in the SEC. Like you're seeing the difference in these young guys. Like I think that guys like him and Justice Williams could be really, really good next year. But it's just like the speed of the game is a lot right now, especially under pressure when we get behind in these games.
I think he has the athletic ability to be a really good offensive player. I don't know what he's going to do on the defensive side of the ball. Either we can't be switching everything, or he's got to be better, which is something that you can work on in the offseason. You can't really do it that much now, but he's got to be better there because he just gets abused. I mean, there are multiple times not to go back, but like all the way back to Arkansas abused him on the defensive end. He was like literally unplayable. If he can get that little turnaround on offense, he gets the open shot and he gets it. He's confident in himself. He just needs to be able to make that consistently. And I think like you're looking at somebody who I hope will stick around for next year and maybe even the year after. And that junior year be a really good college basketball player.
Yeah, I agree with that, Rory. And I also think that there's a couple other guys on the team that are just banged up right now. We imagine Adam Miller, like he would have been such a big help at this point in the season. And then also Jalen Cook, who transferred to Tulane. He probably transferred because Adam Miller came in.
Yeah.
Didn't think he was going to play much. He's averaging like 20 for Tulane. He was a guard who would have been in his second year, who could have given you some scoring when we needed it. And I think that was a big loss.
I will say this, though. I like what Will Wade's doing. And we can talk about this for a second. I mean, we talked about LSU football recruits. I mean, Will Wade's still out on the recruiting trail, getting players. This weekend signed the number like 4 center. I think he's a top 20 player for sure. Top 15 player. He's 15 in the nation. So that would give us 2 players in the top 15 with
along with Marvel.
Trey, and Julian Phillips, number 12, and then Devin Reed, who's a top 100 player, all guys over 6'8". He's building something that's just like, these are guys that you could fit exactly into this defense that he's playing right now and move forward. You know, they're guys that are built for the modern kind of like almost NBA, where they're kind of positionless players who switch everything and play hard defense and super athletic. And you have that, and then you bring in a few transfers to come play point guard and be a scorer like Brandon Murray. You keep Brandon Murray next year. I mean, this is looking like a dangerous basketball team, and he's building like a future almost of like,
where you have some seniors and juniors with experience. Exactly. I agree.
And we're seeing that where he's bringing in transfers and plucking and picking them out, but I think there's definitely something brewing to where like we are very much on the up.
All right.
Yeah, I'd very much agree with that. One comment about Epton Reed, I think he just needs to be more like his brother that played at LSU a few years ago, Nas Reed. Like, he just needs to be more aggressive on the boards and be confident in himself. Another thought is Luffy. So you were at the PMAC last night, like, and you've been early on in the season when we were like, I mean, we were the number 12 team in the country. Is it still the same? I assume it is, right? I mean, I assume the balcony Bengals are there. I assume
the student section was good. The student section was pretty good last night. The game was an 8:00 game and it was raining, so that's gonna take a lot of your older crowd away. And we were a 13-point favorite, so that's a big factor in it. The previous game I went to though was fine. I mean, we were still kind of sliding a little bit then, and the game was fine. And I heard A&M was fine, so I don't think that'll be an issue really. I mean, you got to win some games.
There. You know,
sports there. I agree.
Dude, I mean, I think, honestly, if Dale Brown would have gotten the support that Will Wade's getting right now, he'd still be the coach at LSU.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of
LSU
women's basketball,
yes,
playing well. They dropped a few games they should have won, but they dropped to Florida. They should have won that, but came back on Sunday against Kentucky. Really good game. Just putting it together, they look like a very solid tournament team. Number 15 in the nation, probably going to be a top 4 seed, hopefully, and good looks.
So great story about that, Rory. I sent you a picture of the bets I placed on Sunday when we were watching. We were mainly in the sports book in Vegas for the AFC NFC Championship, but I was with my uncle, and we were walking up to the kiosk. He goes, "Oh crap, LSU women's plays in 10 minutes." I'm like, well, we got to put action on it because we're in Vegas. And the spread was 8.5 points. And we bet on the game before we realized that they weren't going to have it on the TV. So we were just sitting there like during the Bengals Chiefs game, like with our phones refreshing the score app to check and make sure LSU was going to cover. And LSU was actually in trouble for a good while. They were down in the third quarter, ended up coming back and covering. The final score was 78-69, and the spread was 8.5. So we literally covered by a half point. And the only reason they covered is because of late game fouling and free throws. So, and that was one of the only bets that I won that day, besides Chiefs money line. But speaking of all that betting talk, the House Always Wins segment is going to be suspended this week because we have a lot to talk about signing day and baseball and basketball and whatnot. But the sponsor of the House Always Wins segment is the House Bar in Tigerland. You heard Rory mention it earlier. Livy Dunn goes to the House Bar in Tigerland.
I feel like we're calling her out on that. I don't know if we should have, but whatever.
Well, I think everybody would know if they saw her there, right?
That's true.
Like, she's got a lot of followers. So
that's true.
If she's cool enough to go to the House Bar in Tigerland, then you are too. Make sure to go to the House Bar in Tigerland. DJ Rory Luke is the DJ. He is throwing heat through the speakers. They have great drink deals almost every night of the week. I think it's Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sometimes open for special events and whatnot, special days of the week. But get on over to the house bar, see our boys Casey and Jeff, and tell them the Out the Box podcast sent you. Make sure to follow the house bar in Tigerland on Twitter at Tigerland House and on Facebook and Instagram at House in Tigerland. House Always Wins segment is going to be suspended this week because we got to keep rolling, right? So we will talk a little sports betting. We missed it last week, which, by the way, completely sorry about not having an episode last week. I got a few texts, basically saying that it was a massive week in Louisiana sports, and life just happened, right? We're all busy guys. We're all recently 25, right? Shout out Luffy, happy birthday, brother!
Thank you.
So
you too, John. Happy birthday, John.
Yeah, thanks.
Happy birthday, John.
Thanks for that. I wasn't fishing for that or anything, but yeah, I mean, life happened, and we're happy to be back. So, all right, y'all want to talk a little, Rory? I'm in a group text with you.
I didn't even know you were in that. How long have you been in that?
I kind of lurk in there. I get it's kind of a gambling group text, and it's a lot of guys that went to high school together at some inferior high school to mine. But anyway, sports betting is legal in Louisiana, and I'm pretty sure Rory is positive since he downloaded every single sports betting app that he could.
I did. I mean, you had to get all the free play. I now have cornered it down to one. I only like one. There's only one worth it that I think. I don't know who we're sponsored by. I don't even know if I talk about this.
Yeah, I might chill on that.
But
I don't know. Say it. Who cares?
I think personally, just with the experience, the app, the deals that come, they don't really always give the best odds. I found better odds on other apps, but I just keep coming back for the ease of use is the FanDuel app. The FanDuel app,
you're going to say that,
is just so easy to use. It's seamless. It doesn't take a long time to load. I can find everything on there. I mean, I'm not with the Caesars. Caesars didn't give me my $300 free play, so I'm out on Caesars. I know. I don't know where it went.
JB Smooth didn't hit you with some free play?
No, he didn't. But
he is, by the way, his face is all over Vegas. Like, you cannot turn a corner in Vegas without seeing Caesar standing there with his hands up, like offering free play to you.
You can barely see it in New Orleans. I mean, same thing. I will say this: first bet placed Mets to win the World Series.
Damn.
I have two.
Not Bengals. Try to tell Roy about them. Try to tell Roy about them Bengals.
I have two Mets. I have a virtual ticket and an actual ticket on the Mets to win the World Series.
So, also a funny story. So I think sports betting became legal this past Friday, right?
Yeah. Online sports betting.
So, and I landed in Vegas Saturday night. Well, I had somebody texting me trying to, like, if I signed up for this app, I would get free play.
I should have texted you too.
And they would get free play.
Yeah.
And
FanDuel has that.
They just kept hammering me. I'm like, I am in literally the place you go, or the place that you went last week if you wanted to place a legal sports bet, right? Like, you can go to other places and whatnot, but they just couldn't get it through their head that, like, I had no reason to be on my phone mobile sports betting, right? So anyway, I think,
all right,
we've kind of been a proponent. One second left. I've kind of been a proponent of this for a long, long time now to legalize sports betting. There was no reason not to. There's no reason that Louisiana can't tax the crap out of this and stimulate the economy and whatnot. Like, it was a long time coming, and I'm very glad to see. And it's also like, a lot more people like were just hesitant to, like, let's be honest. There were a lot of people who sports bet illegally prior to the legalization in Louisiana. And I feel like
We don't
now
know those people.
No, never heard of that. But
yeah, no, I'm not saying
okay.
me. I'm not saying that. But anyway, there were a lot of people, and I feel like there are a lot of people now who are going to get involved. And if they had enough self-control beforehand to not do it, then they'll be just fine when it's legal. So I think the net positive of this will definitely outweigh the negative.
All right, I got a baseball stat to leave everybody with. Going into baseball talk next week, we're starting baseball talk. We have not really been good the last couple of years. I'm looking forward to actually having a good team this year. We're 45-45 over the last 3 years at SEC play. That is terrible for LSU baseball. If you think otherwise, you're wrong. I cannot wait to have a good team again.
We did go to a super regional last year.
45-45 and SEC play.
I agree that
but that's not the standard. But if you're doing that, that's not good enough to, like, you can get hot and go to the super regional.
Well,
that's not going to carry you to a title.
I do think that last year, the COVID restrictions, the signs in people's face to put their mask on. I think Alex Box. I think Alex Box. What? I'm just saying that's what it was. I think Alex Box has not been what it has been in the last couple of years. Nobody counts 2020 when the pandemic broke out in the baseball season. Nobody can count that, right? So I think this year the batteries have been recharged. Jay Johnson, the silent killer. He's the carbon monoxide of college baseball coaches. It is going to be a new energy in Alex Box. And, the energy that Jay Johnson's going to get and the support, like, imagine if Alex Box would have gotten that when he was the coach at LSU.
You got to get that bit up.
I don't even think Alex Box was. I think he was a player at LSU that was in the armed forces. But the point was made. All right. So I had a loyal listener. Shout out to the non-casual sports fan, Davis Berg, my homie. He texted me over the weekend, and he asked the question, is Trey Morgan going to play outfield? And I think that has been announced. Like, I think Trey Morgan, we will, as locked down as he was at first, I don't fully understand it. I think that maybe once some of our outfielders develop, some of the young guys, some stepping in, I think that might kind of change. But, I mean, Trey Morgan is just the most natural first baseman you've ever seen, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they'll just try to get the best players in the lineup, and if it doesn't work, then they'll move him back to first. But he's definitely going to be – I think he's going to be good defensively wherever he's placed, really. I think he's that talented.
Yeah, no, I'm not – that's not to say that. I just think he is just so –
yeah, he is. He's great.
He's in a league of his own at playing first base, right? I mean, the scoops that he makes and his bat in the lineup, I mean, it was absurd, honestly.
I think
especially for someone who went to Brother Martin.
That's true. Brother Martin, grad, John. I think it gives you a spot, and we can talk about this, next week. I think we're going to go through a whole lineup next week, but I think it gives you, like you said, it gives you a shot to put your best hitters on the field, and it gives you a place to put Beloso without that being DH.
Okay, I didn't think of that. I really do like Beloso going back to first because it was very clear how it affected him last year not being in the field.
And I think
and it probably has something to do with Jacob Berry too, where he's going to play.
That's true as well. Because Berry might play third or he might DH. So I think that Trey Morgan is a very capable defender. He's like a plus defender for sure. I think at either corner position in the outfield, as long as he has the arm. I mean, we haven't really seen his arm, so we don't know, but I assume they wouldn't put him out there if he doesn't have the arm. If he has the arm, I mean, I'm all in on him playing the outfield because it's a very good defender, and you put him in the outfield. He's fast enough for the outfield. And then you put Beloso at first base, where you definitely get a minus defender. You go from a fantastic defender to an average defender.
Hey, that's our boy.
I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't tell you he's a fantastic defender, but I think that at first base,
I'm sure he would.
That's minimized, you know? You don't like, while Trey Morgan is a great defender at first base, do you need a great defender at first base? No. Frank Thomas played first base. David Ortiz played first base. Neither of those guys can move. They both also DH'd. But, you know, first base.
A little bit of a stretch, but all right.
But I'm just saying that, like, first base, you don't need the best defender, you know? So I think that you take a hit defense at first base to get another great bat in the lineup, and then you get the same defense in the outfield, you know?
But I do see that point, but at the same time, Trey Morgan's presence at first base was clearly felt last year when a ball would get overthrown, when there was a scoop that needed to be made. Like, that's crucial. A pass ball, giving up a base means everything in college baseball because it can change in an instant. But I do see what you're saying, and I do get your point, Rory. I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate.
No, and I understand, but what I'm saying is, like, if you can get another fucking
whoa, wow. That slipped out.
Wow. If you can get another like 10 to 15 home runs in the lineup.
No, I on that first base, I do agree. Yes.
And I think that it will depend on the matchup. You know, I think maybe when a lefty pitches, Beloso's at the bench. Maybe when a righty pitches, Beloso comes in, or I don't know, whoever he hits better. But I'm with the tinkering. Like, let's tinker. LSU baseball is about the tinker.
I know Jay Johnson's a fantastic baseball coach. I might have watched him coach one or two games, just like College World Series.
They're in the College World Series. So,
College World Series, right. That's what I was going to say. But when it comes to tinkering, he's no match for Maneri, right?
You can't match the legend tinkerer.
I mean, Maneri tinkered into SEC play. Like, midway through SEC play, he was tinkering. In the regional and the super regional, Maneri's sitting there tinkering with a lineup.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. We played it. We started a different lineup though, winning like the last game of the regional. It was not your regular lineup. I'm all for the tinker. Let's just tinker. Who cares?
Man, I would love to. We have to see if we can get Coach Maneri on the show. We have to. I feel like it'd be a lot easier now. He's got a lot less stress. He probably, you know what he probably does? He probably goes to LaBerge from 5 a.m. to like 8 a.m. on a weekday or something. Like, that's probably what he does in his free time. He goes to where there's not a lot of people. Then he slides on over to the buffet, gets him an Eggs Benedict and some bacon, and he's just living life now. He's probably itching to get back in the spotlight already.
All right. Enough about Maneri.
What do you think Maneri's doing now, Luffy?
I've seen him eat lunch before, so eating lunch, probably just hanging out, living a retirement life. Probably not much, yeah.
Yeah, but he probably eats lunch at home because there's too many people out and about during the day. Like, I mean, he's kind of a local celebrity.
No, Will Wade eats lunch out every day.
All right.
That's it.
Let's round out the show.
John.
Let's round out the show. Thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. We can't thank y'all enough. We say it every week. We're on episode 95, guys. Like, we have 5 more episodes to the 100th episode. LSU baseball is less than 3 weeks away. We could not be more excited. The support, the comments, the tweets, the likes on Instagram, that is all fine and dandy to us. We love it. We love any type of interaction. If you want to, I'm not saying I want to be cussed out, but if you want to send us a nasty message, we just want to be interacted with, right? It's kind of like, Brian Kelly dancing to recruits. any attention for us is good attention, right? So I think with that, we want to round out the show. Thank the House Bar in Tigerland, Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty, and also, did you know that Blaine Loop wanted you to know that Keller Williams is an equal opportunity housing partner, each office independently owned and operated? And
congrats, Blaine, for getting engaged.
Yes. Blaine, I don't think we mentioned it on the show yet, but Blaine is engaged, and he is looking forward. We are all looking forward to his life with his fiance. And shout out to Workbox LLC and the Boot Crew Media Network.
And the House Bar in Tigerland.
I think I said that. But this has been another rendition of your favorite podcast, the Out the Box Show, signing off on this Wednesday night.
Good
but before we do that, Luffy, you been playing more golf? Is he going to exit the Zoom? Can't hear you.
I'll answer mine.
Rory, have you passed the bar yet?
I haven't passed the bar yet.
Okay, because that's a goal and not a resolution. Luffy.
No, I haven't played any golf.
Okay. And I ate like an absolute pig this past weekend. So it was quite pitiful. And
all right. Good job. We're winning the New Year's Eve resolution, whatever it's called.
I think we're all tied for last. So, we're also tied for first. So we'll see y'all.